Good morning. Bitcoin has pulled back below $69,000 with over $175 million of longs liquidated. This is the highest amount of long liquidations in at least a week, ladies and gentlemen. We do have a major buy signal flash in the largest stablecoin issuer. They're set to launch $500 million Bitcoin mining operation to decentralize Bitcoin mining even further. Really interesting story, that one. And a Japanese company called Metaplanet has added Bitcoin to their balance sheet. The market reacted in a crazy way, a bullish way. The red buy button is flashing today, $69,180. Jumping straight into the news. Diving into the liquidation, shout out to everyone watching live, watching the replay. Shout out to Johnny, a number one this morning. Bitcoin buckles below $69,000 as the crypto bulls endure $175 million of liquidations. We've got a little bit of a message around going short, going long, leveraging against Bitcoin, but the move lower triggered the largest amount of leverage long liquidations in a whole week. People don't learn. People want to be degens. It is what it is. It's given us an amazing opportunity with the buy button in the background. You just hit it when it's red. Well, you hit it twice when it's red. It's absolutely fantastic. When it's green, you still hit it. Amazing opportunity. It's nice to be able to stack a couple more cheap sets. We'll dive into the price shortly, but the overwhelming majority, some 175 million, so there's $200 million of liquidations yesterday, were long bets on prices to ride on Bitcoin. This was the largest daily leverage long flush in a week. The data shows, suggesting that leverage traders were caught off guard. If you're leveraging Bitcoin, you're always going to be caught off guard unless you know what you're doing. And a good trader gets it right 51% of the time. Are you that good? Maybe, maybe not. If you are, you do you. Well done. If not, just buy, stack, and chill. That's the game we're playing. Don't give. You work so hard to be able to stack this Bitcoin. Just don't give it all away and getting a little bit greedy. It's not how legends are made. The Bitcoin supply inactive for a year slides to an 18-month low of 65%. What this means is Bitcoin that hasn't been in circulation for at least a year is still 65.8% of the coins available. That's incredible. It's come down from highs of 70%. 65%, absolutely amazing. If we have a look at the 2-year holders as well, it's come down from 57.4% down to 54%. We've got the halving coming up. We'll dive into that. It's pretty exciting. These numbers, 65% of people still not selling. Some people are in profit, and we are going to see people selling. Whatever Bitcoin you have now, it is probably 90, 95, maybe 100% of the Bitcoin that you'll ever own for the rest of your life. That's not something that you just buy, get rich quick. Yes, that will happen over a 4-year time frame. Buy as much as you can, but then sell it. That doesn't make any sense. Bitcoin is the escape raft. It is the money. This is something that you want to hold on and pass on to future generations. It's infinity divided by 21 million. Don't be that person looking back and in 10 years being like, wow, I sold that Bitcoin, what, for $100,000, $1 million. Now it's 10 million, 100 million, whatever it is. I'm just making up numbers here. The point is Bitcoin's going up and to the right forever. Now, everyone is focused on Sailor and the ETFs. Why Tether is as profitable as the biggest investment banks on earth and is piling that profit into Bitcoin. If you're not buying Bitcoin, companies like Tether are buying Bitcoin. Wall Street is buying Bitcoin. Michael Saylor is buying Bitcoin. We're going to dive into this Japanese company that put $6.5 million into Bitcoin and is absolutely astounding, the overnight success story for them. So 78% of the number Goldman Sachs did, but Tether only has 10 employees compared to the rest. And we've got this video from Patrick McHenry that we'll dive into, but diving a little bit deeper with Tether, as well as putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Now they've invested, or they're investing $500 million into Bitcoin mining just before the halving. Absolutely amazing. And a move that may shake up the global Bitcoin mining industry. Tether CEO, let's just say Paulo, my apologies for my ignorance. said the stablecoin issuer's $500 million build out in the sector is nearly complete. In El Salvador, there is a setup phase. This is so interesting. We are first focusing on building renewable energy stations, starting from solar and wind and then moving towards geothermal. Volcano energy, obviously Max Kaiser's been talking about this a lot, and we've covered this many months ago. In June 2023, Tether said it was participating in a $1 billion initiative in El Salvador to capture the country's geothermal energy production. The reason for the move into mining, decentralization. Bitcoin mining was first centralized in China, now it's centralized in the US. Of course, the US is more open than China, but we shouldn't allow one single geopolitical jurisdiction to be so important. This is the largest stablecoin issuer in the world. Stacking Bitcoin, I believe personally, Tether is a CBDC. I'm not interested in it. I get it. I'm interested in Bitcoin. For them, though, to be buying this Bitcoin, helping decentralize the network, I'll give them kudos for that. Props for doing that. And it's the incentives of Bitcoin. Greed makes the network stronger. It's incredible how it works. Now, Metaplanet, the Bitcoin effect is very real. Bradley Dean is asking why Australian companies haven't added Bitcoin to their balance sheets. Australians deserve the big end of town to operate with far more corporate diligence. We're going to see this more and more. Yes, it's a couple of laser-eyed maxis pushing the Bitcoin narrative that Bitcoin fixes this, but it does, and as more and more people wake up, results like this is going to happen. So I did a quick post yesterday, wherever it is gone, we'll come back to it. But they added it and an 85% pump after doing nothing for so long. Pretty incredible. We'll dive into this real short clip. Patrick McHenry, 34 seconds. Nice to see people in the know are on our side more and more. Shout out to everyone watching live. If you can smash the like button, greatly appreciated. Patrick.
Look, the way I view Bitcoin is, what Satoshi brought into this world has been unstoppable. Every regime that's tried to shut it down has failed. Even the Chinese Communist Party that tried to shut down Bitcoin couldn't. And so it is an unstoppable piece of technology that I'm trying to convince policymakers on the Hill to embrace and for the United States to be leaders in rather than fall behind. And I want to make sure that you all hear that message clearly. Look,
It's pretty awesome to have that. It goes on a lot longer. They're at a conference there, and everything he said was outstanding. But the point of that video is you can't stop Bitcoin, so you may as well jump on board and let it benefit your nation, your citizens. We are going to see this, and we've seen this in El Salvador. I've got a really interesting article to bring up shortly, but a quick reminder. 420, April 20th, 2024, 8:13 a.m. It looks like we're going to get the halving. Roughly, the time's going to change. The date may change a little bit, but it's looking like it's going to be on a 420. The price, $69,000 ex Twitter. The Bitcoin community is going to have a field day. It's pretty likely, who knows, Bitcoin's going to be pretty volatile between now and then and after for a while. The halving, it changes everything, but 10 days, 2 hours, 26 minutes at this stage on 420. We'll see how we go. I reckon we hit it now. It has stayed there quite convincingly for a while. So we'll see. I really look forward to it. Real quick shout out to the incredible experts in the Bitcoin cybersecurity space, the Bitcoin way. Team has helped me out extraordinary. Safety Namusi, author of the Bitcoin Standard, also endorses the professional Bitcoin IT team. The Bitcoin Way is a service I've always wanted. Most important, if your Bitcoin is on an exchange and you need a little bit of help, or you're not sleeping easy with whatever option you've gone to store that Bitcoin, reach out to the Bitcoin Way. The first 30 minutes is free. Air gap wallets, that's absolutely huge. Your wallet should never touch the internet, never be plugged into a computer by USB or any interface. There should be literally an air gap between your wallets. Help you set up running a node to be your own bank, to have a Swiss bank account in your pocket, or just find any vulnerabilities in your system. The first 30 minutes is free. link top of the description. Absolutely epic group of people. Block height, 838,493, $69,006. Sats per USD, 1,449. Absolutely epic. We will be hitting by today. For every $10, you get 14,490 Satoshis. It's an incredible deal. $69,000, like a $1.3 trillion market cap. Bitcoin is insanely cheap now. Bitcoin is going up and to the right forever. It's going to be volatile. If Bitcoin's either $0 or $1 million, if it's going up to $1 million, it's not just going to be a straight line there. When you zoom out, I'm sure it will be, but it's going to be choppy. Make the most of it. We have the buy signal today. It's flashing for us. Red, you just smash it. Make the most of it. Buy, stack, chill, go out in the water, get some sun. Whatever it is, you do you. Just enjoy yourself after you stack, because you're setting yourself up. You're making yourself a legend. You're looking after your future and your future's future. It's incredible. If we can get this to load, 9 minutes and 38 seconds. I believe the average block height, while they aim for 10 minutes, is about 9 minutes and 36 seconds over the life of the blockchain as well. So it's pretty much where it usually is. Blocks to go. Wow, 1,506. It'd be super cool, the blocks, 1506, if we get parity with the sats, even for a moment. Somebody screenshots that, timechaincalendar.com. If you do manage to do that, you're a subscriber, and you get that screenshot, tag us on X at Sean Clark 911, and we'll sort something out. Maybe we'll send you a shirt from the Bitcoin Lab. This one arrived yesterday. Just sussily sending it out, but the bitcoinlab.io, you can check that out if you want to support the show. Just send the Bitcoin bat signal. If you get that screenshot, the block heights and the sats are on parity there. Tag us on X. Be super cool. Might happen. Bitcoin has come down a little bit of fear in the market over the last 5 days. It looks pretty good. The last month, I don't think as well, sort of just sideways action. 3 months, we have a look at it, up and to the right. So, you know, people start to zoom out a little bit, but zooming out 5 days or 1 month and it's not looking really good. Look at the trend of where Bitcoin's been over the last 6 months, and we are in a bull market. Bitcoin's going to keep going up, but the cheaper it is, the lower it is, truly the better it is for you. So make the most of it. Celebrate these beautiful red days. We're still going to see a lot of red days all the time, maybe every second day. Maybe we get a green and a red day in the same day. But when it's red, down at these prices, make the most of it. It's crazy. It doesn't seem expensive anymore. Like, it's just something in the last week. Bitcoin always felt expensive to me. Apart from March 2020 was probably the only time. And then the last week we've been buying a lot. And it's great. Like, I don't know. It's, what, under $1 million? It's a good deal to me. Now, this was what I wanted to say about Metaplanet. And shout out to everyone watching live. We will get into a bit of a banter at the end. The Japanese company Metaplanet is adding Bitcoin to its balance sheet as a treasury reserve asset. The initial buy was about $6.5 million, about 1 billion Japanese yen. More companies then further nation states slowly, then suddenly the world wakes up. So this was their announcement here. I'll bring it up. Let's give them credit because they are using the Bitcoin game plan that Michael Saylor has put forward, and it's worked out extremely well for them. Today, we're thrilled to announce a groundbreaking shift in our financial strategy as we embrace Bitcoin as the core treasury asset of the company going forward by committing an initial 1 billion Japanese yen. This strategic pivot is not just about embracing digital assets, but also about pioneering a future where finance meets innovation at its core. Bold Step is made possible by the support from an amazing lineup of partners and investors. Our transition to Bitcoin. Interesting to see Mark Yusko there. We had him on the show 2 weeks ago. You can check that out. Our transition to Bitcoin is a significant milestone in our mission to lead in the digital finance era and positions Metaplanet as a pioneer in the adoption of digital assets in Japan. Stay tuned. Very, very interesting. Last 5 days up 90% when they announced it. As soon as trading started, just bang, straight up and to the right. It had a major jump, and that's the point of Bitcoin. You hold it, you hodl it, it goes up, you're sweet, you chill. We're at the point in the Bitcoin cycle where no one is really paying attention. Prices consolidating ahead of another parabolic run. Peter Schiff is making a fool of himself, and hodlers are smiling as we walk down the street surrounded by people who are completely oblivious. Let us know in the chat if you're having that experience. You're like walking around, whether you've just hit the red button or the green button, and you're stacking those sats and you're just walking around through town or whatever, you're at the beach, and you just have this sense of peace and calm because you're sorted. Like everything's rosy. That's how I feel, at least. Like rose-colored glasses all the time in a Bitcoin stand. It's surreal. So the Bitcoin therapist, buy, stack, and chill. In regards to Peter Schiff, this is starting to get a little bit insidious, really, because when misinformation or propaganda or lies are spouted, even if they're debunked later and the facts are presented to the population, it's very hard to remove that first belief, whatever was implanted. And that's how propaganda works so well. Mainstream media, they keep putting out all these lies in regards to Bitcoin being bad for the environment, using so much electricity, yada, yada, yada. People hear that. It's used for money laundering. And it sticks in. And even when the facts are presented, people are too lazy to replace those limiting beliefs, that inaccurate information, and they go along with that narrative. So what Peter's doing is implanting these mind viruses into people, and it's not good. So just be aware that is propaganda going on at its finest. The Bitcoin ETFs have been a godsend for foreign central banks. They need to buy a lot more gold to replace dollars and build real monetary reserves to back their currencies. Bitcoin ETFs has siphoned investor demand away from gold, allowing central banks to buy more gold cheaper. Or people just believe Bitcoin is far superior to gold in every way. It's as one thing. Bitcoin is many things, and it's different things to different people. Store of value, unit of account, it's a currency. But it's more gold than gold ever was, and it's gold and digital rails. So, sorry, Peter, you're right for so long, but the takes on Bitcoin, a little bit sad. GBTC, they're still selling 4,200 Bitcoin. They've now leaked over 300,000 Bitcoin in outflows since the ETF launch. That will be a lot of people also moving over to BlackRock. But for 300,000 Bitcoin to flow out into the market, and yes, some of them would have gone straight back into other ETFs, huge amount of outflows, and we're hovering around all-time highs, like we're above the old all-time high. Like that's crazy. That's the power of Bitcoin, and there's more Bitcoin out there. Like even BitB yesterday, $40 million approx inflow today, nearly $100 million of volume. What happens when the FOMO starts after the halving? It's not going to happen straight away. Maybe we get a sell-off the day of the halving. Maybe, maybe not. Wouldn't worry about it. Just buy, stack, and chill. That's all we need to do. But $100 million of volume a day from one ETF, still, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. And it still feels quiet. Mike Novogratz, call me crazy, but I don't see one good reason for the Fed to cut rates. Yet, think they will. It's a great setup for Bitcoin, gold, silver, and copper. It's not a great setup for the USA, though. We need a politician who will cut spending dramatically. Sound of silence from DC. maybe they cut rates, maybe they don't. I'm more on the camp is they are going to in Q3, and they're going to have to inject liquidity, start some money printing after the halving. Like the catalyst this year, absolutely amazing. And if that doesn't play out and Bitcoin stays down at these prices for another 4 years, what a godsend. I don't see that happening. So make the most of the red buy button or the green buy button. But with those forces lined up, I think it's going to be an absolutely incredible time. Benjamin, hold us, infinity divided by 21 million. This is not a joke. The face-ripping rallies that we'll see in Bitcoin will scare the hell out of people. When Exilion, which is Samson Mel, I need to get Samson on the show. We've been talking a little bit. What a very intriguing, interesting guy doing some great work. Orange pilling nation states. Samson Mao, Exilion, he talks about God candles and Omega candles, an Omega candle being a $100,000 candle in one day. And he references the USD, which is huge, and a lot of people say that can't happen. But Samson Mao, this guy here on the right, is literally working on nation-state Bitcoin adoption, and he's talking about an Omega candle. The point is not that we're going to definitely have a $100,000 candle in a day. It's to get people to realize that it is possible. And Bitcoin has really done so many face-ripping rallies. A lot of people aren't prepared. So be prepared to be terrified and exhilarating, but just hodl at the end of the day. Hopefully we don't get them straight away. You know, there's so many people that actually need Bitcoin. Yes, like I'm not sure when you jumped into the space. Been here since 2019 now. And I've orange pilled a lot of people, but it's only like really recently my wife's sister started buying last weekend. Like that's not enough time for them to accumulate. Like if they've got 95% of their stack now, like that's sad. Let's give them this, make the most of it, and get the message out that the red button needs to be pushed now. Get as much as possible, because if we get $100,000 Omega candle, they get substantially less Satoshis, and fiat, it's melting. Like Bitcoin literally is the solution. It's hope, it's the exit ramp from serfdom to allow you to be free. Especially the Bitcoin way. If you need help setting up a node, reach out to them again. Bitcoin whales accumulate 1,362 Bitcoin, 90 million since March 6. Through a Binance hot wallet, we'll see. Like, there's a lot of people buying. 61 millionaires or 62 millionaires, only 21 million Bitcoin. Multiple people have multiple coins. There's not a lot left. 65% haven't sold in a year, 54% haven't sold in 2 years. Wall Street is coming, the world's just waking up. The regulation has made Bitcoin an easier pill to swallow, because Larry Fink, whatever you think about the dude, and I've got interesting thoughts about Larry Fink, has made it acceptable in the eyes of high net worth individuals, but just anyone in general. The world's largest asset manager getting behind Bitcoin, Bitcoin being the most successful ETF in human history. Of course, it's going to change the mentality of people for the better. It's absolutely great. Now we just need to get the education out there for them to hold in self-custody, make sure they don't keep it on the exchange. But the narrative's shifting, and in a positive way. And Larry Fink is more powerful than Elizabeth Warren ever will be. And it's just a charade. While the exit ramps are still open, please get on the life raft and share the orange pill. If you can smash the like button, and let's get this video out there. Checkmate, my favorite analyst, the lead analyst at Glassnode, and an absolute gentleman. I'm pretty sure my personal conviction about Bitcoin is the highest it has ever been. $100,000 AUD orange coins are starting to feel cheap, although it's a serious adjustment. Bitcoin is almost always cheap from a fundamental perspective, even though it really feels like it. It's what we were talking about yesterday. Bitcoin will always be cheap. May not always feel cheap to you personally, but it'll always be cheap because fiat is continuing to go down forever. They're just going to print more and more and more and more and debase it. I was talking to somebody yesterday, been telling them about Bitcoin since about March 2020. So if you know the price back then, you know the price now. Substantially different. I've been talking to them a lot about it then. Since then, you know, over the years, saying you should buy some, look after your family, look after your future. A lot of kids, got a real fancy car, real fancy boat. And no, rather have the toys. It's all a scam. And going into the grocery store yesterday, he's like, you know, he's working. He's like, need to work half an hour to buy a box of Cocoa Pops, like the sugary fiat cereal. It's like, this is absolutely crazy. He's got a lot of mouths to feed. If you stay on a fiat standard, your life will get more and more expensive. And on Bitcoin standard, it substantially gets cheaper very, very quickly. It's crazy. My heart went out to him. And then you tell him, you know, Bitcoin's still cheap. Like, your life is going to get better. Some people, they've just been so psyops, and maybe that's a little bit of my communication, not being able to convince them, but you can lead a horse to water. Not everyone's going to take that life raft. So if you can take yourself, you're here, you're doing the right thing, you're buying your stack and you're chilling, you are sorting out your friends, your family, you're providing hope for other people as well. On a Bitcoin standard, you can start up businesses and give back to your community. Whatever it is that you ultimately dream for the highest good, Bitcoin gives you that capacity to be able to do more, to be able to help more. That's why we need these warriors, these legends in the chat, to make the most of these opportunities, just not to get shaken out. Red button, biggest liquidations in 1 week. It's 1 week. Okay, people won't learn. Like, thanks for the cheap Bitcoin. If you're selling, I'm buying. I appreciate it. CJK, we had CJ on the podcast maybe 3 weeks ago. What an amazing, interesting guy. If you haven't seen that video, one of the smartest people I've had on the channel, I think. The way that he was talking about Bitcoin as the world's pristine collateral, I'd highly suggest checking it out. But Bitcoin bullish divergence reminds me of what happened post ETF launch back in Jan. BFV kept climbing despite price correction and continued consolidation. Correction lasted 32 days. Aggressive move up to Bitcoin fair value. I expect Bitcoin start to make its way back up to Bitcoin fair value going in to the halving. Up and to the right, Bitcoin fair value at the moment, $84,000. It's just a moment. It's nice getting rid of those, getting rid of the longs. Still some shorts to take out, but when we start taking out the shorts, a jump to 84,000 could happen pretty quick. Remember, it is going to be very, very volatile between now and the halving, and even after. Just buy, stack, and chill. Ride it out. There's many opportunities. In every crisis, there's an opportunity. I don't know. Make the most of it. Just don't get shaken out. Whatever it is, don't hand over your Bitcoin. You've worked so hard to stack those sats. Just try to get more Satoshis today than you had yesterday, or this week than you had last week. Bloomberg, El Salvador buying back of their debt is a positive forward-looking indicator and shows the solid footing Bukele's government is on, said Irene Barak, Managing Director of Fixed Income at New York-based Alliance Global Partners. El Salvador offers to buy back bonds as risk premium falls. You get in debt, you get onto a Bitcoin standard, and you get out of debt, and your country goes from the highest murder capital in the world to one of the safest countries in the world. You're helping your citizens out. Pretty incredible, the power of Bitcoin, hey? This is shocking. It's a green chart. A lot of people are going to get excited about this, but my heart absolutely breaks. Bitcoin and Argentine peso now is 10x higher than it was back at the last all-time high, November 2021. Yes, Bitcoin's worth more and more. Anyone on the Argentine peso? Well, the pain, the heartache, the hurt for so many people, and this is happening to every fiat currency around the world. If you have cash, if you have money in the bank, this is happening, just maybe on a slower time frame. Bitcoin, is, so it's debasing like your life energy. Bitcoin is a store of your life energy. This is incredible. Another reason why to stack. The US federal debt is set to double in just 8 years, rising from 20 trillion in 2017 to 40 trillion in 2025. That's next year. Currently, the US debt is rising by $1 trillion every 100 days. To put this into perspective, if the US debt hits 40 trillion in 2025, that would be a 17 trillion increase since 2020. That would be a 570% jump in US federal debt since 2000, a 25-year period. The worst part, this analyst assumes that we're on track for a soft landing. What happens if a recession hits? Regardless of that, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Adding 1 trillion increase every 100 days. Maybe get Bitcoin just in case you need it. And let's just hit refresh on the price. See where we're at. We're above $69,000. I like the 68 number better. 69's the number of the universe. 369 Nikola Tesla. They're pretty interesting rabbit holes. Anyway, 24-hour range. A low of 68,207. A high of 71,933. The last 7 days, a high of 72,329, a low of 65,361. See it at 69,000, 65,000 a week ago. It felt scary. Oh no, Bitcoin's over. The party stopped. Did I do the right thing? And then the 24-hour low is $68,000. You're like, oh, 65. That sounded good. Now we're at $69,000 there in the background, and you're like, no, maybe there's lower. Maybe I'm going to wait for 65 and then maybe it doesn't get there, but here, and then it pumps back up. Don't try time the top market. It's better to spend time in the market than time in the market. It's a little adage there, but it's so true. Now, that's the Bitcoin news with the fast facts. Real quick banter. I've got something that I want to get to early this morning, but shout out to all the legends in the chat. Johnny Midas, greetings from the desert. OPD in the house. Austin, good morning. Jay, Najek, good morning to you. Smash that buy button and buy some Bitcoin. Average Geo, let's hit the red button. 69K is still cheaper than where it will be in the future. Gargoyle, good to see you this morning. Didn't China just ban Bitcoin and not ban mining and not Bitcoin? They've made it extremely hard. No, Bitcoin's banned as well. A lot of people through Hong Kong will use that as an opportunity with the ETFs. They've still got a huge demand for it, like massive demand for it. And the mining ban, it didn't really work. They kept doing it. There's some really interesting officials mining, like on public utilities and stuff. That's a little bit crazy. I'll try to find that article. It was fascinating, but individual greed secures the network. From seashells to Bitcoin, 2,000 years later, we're here. Don't F it up. Keith, well done. Thank you to those that think they can steer the value of Bitcoin in the futures market. Some of your Satoshis are finding their way to my wallet. That's the way. Habib, good to see you this morning. Mike, Shifty Peter's a bit of man. He actually thinks Bitcoin is composed of nothing. The average Geo, the fee I pay buying Bitcoin is so much cheaper than Schiff's gold premium he charges to buy his gold. Peter Bull Schiff. Banks were buying. Keith, good morning. Gold before ETFs. This fund made 0% profits in 10 years. If gold gets to $5,000, I'll be pulling my filling out. You can't create more Bitcoin. Shout out to everyone there. I'm just going to run through. Justin Chris, good day, brother. Another good day for Bitcoin. Every day is a good day. There's a CME futures gap at around $68,000. Jan, was it filled as well? Because we did go into the high $68,000 or even the low 68,200. So that gap should be filled. Look, guys, when the ETF gets going in Hong Kong, it's game over for gold. That's going to be really interesting, actually, because they've got a premium on their gold. What happens when they start to wake up the world's hardest asset? Cool. It got filled. As always, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure. Takeaway, enjoy the red button. Make the most of the red button. It's red. You can smash it twice. You can smash it once. Whatever. Just buy a stack and chill. Do something nice for yourself. Do something nice for somebody else. We'll see you tomorrow. Be blessed. Peace.